Okay, so part 68. Part 68 of our Every Man's Battle study. And I'm going to go right back into this story that Jack is telling us here. Mary attended my church and was involved in the music ministry, Jack told us. Because of my skills and position in the church, I was involved in many activities with her. We were in a small worship band, and during practices, I noticed she began smiling in a certain way. She was pretty, and I was attracted. But I didn't give it much thought until she kept smiling at me. I got to thinking about it. The attractions were growing, and I felt a little excited and pleased with myself. One day she stopped by my office and caught me alone. She began pouring out her troubles with her husband. As a minister, first and foremost, she knew what she was doing. I'm going to tell you that straight up. That was not accidental. That part, she knew what she was doing, okay? As a minister, I often did counseling, so I felt I should listen. She started crying, and I put my arms around her. Feeling sorry for her, she snuggled in a little, and I kind of liked it. She left, and nothing came of it, but now I was thinking about her constantly. Mary and I happened to take the same road to work, and I noticed she would be watching for me each morning, waving and smiling. And at practice, she was more and more flattering of my musical talents. She looked at me with those eyes, even when I preached, smiling slightly, though sitting right next to her husband. It was kind of naughty and thrilling. Women right now, look, you women that are listening to this, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how disgusting, how gross this is. But let me tell you, try and think from the perspective of your man, of your husband, and understand that men find this stuff very compelling, and there are women that absolutely know that. Okay? That's very, very important. I began doing the strangest things, like driving miles out of my way to her office just to see her car. What in the world did I gain by seeing her car, for Pete's sake? But it was romantic somehow. Finally, a few weeks later, we were alone, and I kissed her. I knew that kiss would end my career at my church, but I couldn't help myself. The attraction had grown too strong. Jack's career, his marriage, and his relationships with his children were severely damaged that afternoon. He said it could never happen, but it did happen because Jack lacked a defense perimeter. Your wife and kids deserve a defense, friend. You never know who will gallop near your corral. Now, let me take this. I'm gonna say something else real quick here, off subject a little bit. That last line, your wife and your kids deserve a defense, and you never know who will gallop near your corral. But particularly the first part, your wife, your children deserve a defense. Before I go on, why do I want to notice this part? I want to really point this part out because of the fact that many of you have had affairs. Many of you have done betrayal. You are unfaithful, or previously unfaithful, hopefully, where you're not anymore. But one of the things that happens, and I'm going to do another video on this too, but I'm going to talk about it here for a second, is after the affair, after the infidelity or the betrayal, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, after you did your spouse wrong in that way, often what happens is we say, let's fix this. I want to fix this. I want us to be fixed, but let's leave her out of it. Let's leave that person that I had an affair with out of it, or that person that I betrayed you with. Let's leave them out of this. You know, they don't have anything to do with this, or they got their own issues, or they got their own problems. Their life, is what it is, and it's not going to help us to bring them into this. And I understand that. But what you often do when you say certain things, if you're trying to keep your spouse away from your affair partner in certain ways, now don't get me wrong, We don't want legal issues happening. We don't want violence happening. We don't want anything bad to come any more than what has. But if you're just trying to protect yourself, which you might be doing, or protect, what it comes across as is you're protecting your betrayal partner, your affair partner. That's what it comes across as to your betrayed spouse. You're trying to protect them, and you never once tried to protect your wife. You never once were trying to protect your spouse or your children while you were betraying them. And yet your affair partner had intimate knowledge of what was going on in your marriage oftentimes. And even if it wasn't, let's say it was just about sex to you, quite often to the woman it's much more than sex. Sex is relational to women. So, but oftentimes it is something more. So here's what I'm saying to you. Find a way. Do not protect your affair partner. Protect your spouse and give them whatever they need to heal. Whatever they need to heal. That word need is very important there. Sometimes they want details. I will say this, and I'm going to say it very bluntly, very boldly. Sexual details don't help anything, ever. There's no place for them. There's no place for them in telling the story. You understand that? It's very important, betrayed spouses, that you understand what I'm saying to you. Sexual details bring pain. They have no place in healing. They will make things worse in some way. Okay? Because either you'll say something like, well, if you did this with them, I'm never going to do it with you. Well, that doesn't promote healing. You know, or you want to know so that you can just hurt inside yourself. That doesn't promote healing. And if you're looking to heal, even if the relationship doesn't stay together, which we stand for your marriage and we highly encourage your marriage to stay together. But there's some things that don't need to be there because they just don't promote healing. Whether you're alone and single or whether your marriage is being repaired, there are certain things that don't belong, and sexual details are one of those things. Okay? You get what you want. You deserve what you want, betrayed spouse. You deserve to get what you want. But that is a place that we highly advise against going. But you unfaithful, you previously unfaithful spouse, whether your spouse yet knows about it or not, your wife and your kids deserve a defense perimeter. Defend them, protect them, give them what they need. A little bit shorter video this time because I want to pick up the next chapter fresh in the next video, okay? Sorry to go off the hinges there a little bit, but believe me when I tell you I'm being nice right now. You know, with what I do every single day, I promise you, we're seeing change for a reason, and sometimes it doesn't come across as nice. Just read the Bible, okay? I don't consider myself a prophet or anything like that, but sometimes the prophets were pretty blunt. They didn't half-heartedly tell what God said to whoever they were talking to, okay? Jesus didn't come across half-hearted either. Paul didn't come across half-hearted either, okay? Look at what's going on here. Let's be real about this. Let's be real about this. And I don't care if you're not a Christian, you don't believe in Paul, you don't believe in Jesus, you don't believe in the prophets. If you don't believe in any of that, you still need, because here's the thing, you want to be all about self and coaches are a good thing and this and that and the other. Listen, you still need to hear it harshly. If you devoted yourself in marriage, do not take yourself somewhere else. Period. Do not. You need it harsh. You need it straightforward. You committed yourself. Be the man you need to be. Be the man that you need to be. Okay? Your life begins where your comfort zone ends, right? Don't get comfortable with this. Do something better. Okay? 1% better every day. That's what I say. 1% better every day is a good thing to do. So do that. All right? I'll see you in the next one.